Might as well. So next to speak will be Kenneth Adams.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, everyone. I want to offer the most profound and serious congratulations to Tom, to Bill as well, and Mike, of course, for this project. And it's true, as Tom said, the agency that I run for Governor Cuomo, Empire State Development, has been a partner to this all along the way. So these are just great events for me, for Amy Vargas, for others to come out and see the fruits of our labor. So, you know, in events like this, it is typical to demonstrate the support that, in this case, state government has for the project by presenting one of those gigantic kind of mock-ups of a big check, right? And, you know, you have this big check and so it's, you know, it looks kind of phony, but it's huge, and you stand behind it and you take a big picture. We're not going to do that this morning. No, this is really special, and it speaks to how special Diamond Mills is and this project is. I actually have the real check. Now, people, this is like, and I've had this since it's about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I don't walk around with this kind of money on me very much. But there's 3 things about this check that I want to mention, and this is the real thing, and I'm going to give it, Bill, you get this on behalf of the village, right? Yeah, it's not made out to you personally. Sorry. But seriously, this is a check from Empire State Development for $780,000. It represents the final payment that we're making in support of that Restore grant that Tom mentioned. And so it's the real thing. It makes me nervous. There are three things about it, though, that I think are worth noting. The first is that while we're enthusiastic supporters in so many ways of this great project, you might have heard what I said before. The check actually isn't made out to the developer. It's not made out to Tom, because it goes to local government. And that's because it's from a program called Restore New York, where our taxpayer dollars are invested in partnerships with local governments that are restoring historic downtowns, just like Saugerties, in cooperation with private developers like Tom. So I just wanted to pause and note that that's the kind of triangle or the partnership that works here, where the town, in this case, technically the village of Saugerties, is committed to the project and is partnering with the developer, and the state is stepping up to help in that way. And not all our projects work this way. In some cases, we do have tax credits and programs that go directly to companies. But I like to single out these projects because it's that cooperation of state government and local government, of course under the broader jurisdiction of the county executive and the county, that make it special. So that point of partnership is the first thing I'd like to mention. The second is the fact that this very much for us is an investment in tourism infrastructure. Look at this incredible room that we're in. Think of the banquets and the weddings and the conferences and the events, the hotel rooms, the magical, this is just you see this more than I do because most of you live here, but this is a stunning and unique setting. And so it's very much for us an investment, certainly in Ulster County and in Saugerties, but in the state's tourism infrastructure. And as Governor Cuomo often points out, tourism in the state is a $50 billion part of our economy. It's a $50 billion travel, tourism, conferences. So this new facility we're opening today becomes a part of the infrastructure that supports at least $50 billion of annual income to the state, right, in gross state product every year, which is a phenomenon. Mike pointed it out, but Ulster County, of course, one of our leading tourist destinations in the state. And so that we believe in making that investment. Where is my colleague and friend Amy Vargas? Amy, as everybody knows, runs our Mid-Hudson Regional Office for Empire State Development out of her office at Stewart Airport, and she also helps to coordinate the Mid-Hudson Regional Council. So projects like this, where the Regional Council voices its support locally for investments in the tourism infrastructure, there are many that come across Amy's desk, but they're very important to our work. The last thing that I want to mention here with this, and I guess actually Ward and Marge know this too, is we don't normally walk around and give checkout in economic development practices like this. So they can support me in this notion. This is happening in part in this very real way today because of the urgency here. I think we have to sort of back up and remember we're at a statewide level. This is still an economy that's struggling to move beyond the effects of the broader national recession that we've now endured for several years. And so a message here in presenting the real check and not an IOU or a wait, or we'll do this later, comes from Governor Cuomo and his commitment that we fund projects that create jobs now. Jobs for New Yorkers in the next weeks and months, in 2012, not ventures that may play out several years from now. But this final point, the real check, the real money, take this to the bank, Bill, is we want to make these investments that create jobs for New Yorkers, again, in this sector, in travel and tourism, for example, but in the moment, right now, because of the urgency of advancing private sector investment, partnering with people like Tom, entrepreneurs like Tom, developers like Tom, and leveraging the private sector investment, creating these jobs right now, because frankly, we desperately need it to have a broad economic recovery across the state. So those are three observations on what doesn't happen very often in my work as I support ESD and the governor's economic development mission around the state. So I'm just going to, again, because I don't want to keep holding on to this, I'm just going to walk over and give it to Bill. And we can take a picture, do whatever you want to do. It's the real thing. Now, we'll set up the photo however we are instructed to do. So you'll tell us. Thank you all very much. Thanks for coming, and thanks for your support of this fantastic project.